Every once in a while, a piece of technology comes along that feels like it could change absolutely everything. And right now, all eyes are on artificial intelligence. The excitement is just palpable. We're talking trillions of dollars flooding into the market. But with all this amazing hope, there's this nagging question that kind of echoes through the halls of financial history.
So what are we really looking at here? Is this the dawn of a new economic age, powered by a kind of productivity we've never seen before? Or are we just watching another gigantic tech bubble inflate, getting ready to pop? Okay, let's really get into it, using some great analysis from the experts at Goldman Sachs to unpack both sides of this massive trillion-dollar question.
All right, first up, let's talk about the bull case. The super optimistic view that AI is the real deal, a genuine game changer for the economy. And the heart of this argument isn't about some cool new app on your phone. No, it's about a deep, fundamental boost to productivity across the entire globe.
And look, this isn't just some vague gut feeling. The economists at Goldman Sachs actually put a number on it. They figure that as AI gets adopted everywhere, it could juice the U.S.'s annual productivity growth by a massive 1.5 percentage points over the next decade. Now, that might not sound like a huge number, but in economics, that is a seismic shift. Absolutely huge.
And what's so interesting is how real and tangible all this is. I mean, we're already seeing it happen. We've got developers getting a 15 to 20% productivity boost from AI tools right now. It's set to automate tons of tasks in big areas like office admin and legal services, and it's even creating whole new markets from scratch. This all adds up, potentially, to a $150 billion market just for generative AI software, which, by the way, could push the value of the entire S&P 500 up by 9% or even more.
So here's the crucial point. Experts aren't just seeing this as another software update. They're calling it Software 3.0. We're shifting from a world where humans had to write every single line of code, following a strict set of rules, to a new world where our job is more about collecting and curating the right data to train these powerful models. It makes technology way more dynamic and accessible than anything we've ever had before. Okay, so that's the incredibly optimistic view. But we have to ask the question, right? Has the hype just gotten way, way ahead of the actual technology? To dig into that, let's take a look at the critical counterargument with people like Professor Gary Marcus leading the charge.
And this quote, wow, it just cuts right to the heart of the skeptical argument. What Marcus is saying here is that what we're calling intelligence is really, at its core, just a super-duper sophisticated autocomplete. It's pattern matching on a mind-boggling scale, sure, but it's not real understanding, it's not reasoning.
This chart really breaks down that difference. We humans use what's called deliberate System 2 thinking. We build a mental model of how the world works. We grasp abstract ideas. The AI we have today, it's all reflexive, System 1. It doesn't understand anything. It just crunches the statistics of which word is most likely to follow another. And that's exactly why these systems can hallucinate. They can state completely false things with total confidence because they have zero concept of what's true.
So the big takeaway from this whole critique is, well, it's pretty sobering. While the tools we have right now are incredibly powerful, no doubt, they're a universe away from the self-aware, truly intelligent AGI that's fueling a lot of the market craziness. According to the critics, that's probably still decades away.
So you've got this revolutionary technology on one side, and a pretty serious reality check on the other. This tension, it feels familiar. So let's turn to the market and see how this is all played out before. Because honestly, we have definitely seen this movie before.
History gives us this kind of worrying roadmap. Think about it. Electricity came along, sparked a huge productivity boom, and genuinely changed the world. And it ended in a massive bubble that burst. Then came the PC and the internet, same story. Transformed the economy, created a huge bubble, and then bust, which leaves that big, ominous question mark sitting right next to AI.
Now, to be fair, when you look at the valuations, things are a bit different this time. Yeah, the price-to-earnings multiples for the big AI companies are high, no question about it. But they haven't quite reached the absolutely insane, eye-watering levels we saw at the peak of the dot-com bubble. And a huge reason for that is that these companies today are generating staggering amounts of actual cash.
And this is the crucial lesson from history. The dot-com bust wasn't just about scammy companies with no revenue. Even solid, profitable companies with great sales saw their stocks absolutely crater. And why? Because their performance, as good as it was, just could not keep up with the euphoric, impossible expectations that were priced in. And that is the exact danger we face today.
So, we've got a powerful argument for a productivity revolution on one hand, and on the other, a pretty scary case based on hype and history. Given these two opposing forces, how is anyone supposed to navigate this landscape?
Well, it seems the expert advice is to get back to basics. It's about a rigorous focus on the fundamentals. First off, you've got to cut through all the noise. Is a company really innovating, or are they just slapping an AI label on their website? You've also got to look at their partnerships. And most important, focus on concrete results. Is this AI stuff actually improving their revenue, their margins? And finally, you got to follow the money. Are they funding these big ambitions with profits, or are they just piling on a mountain of debt?
This line of thinking leads to a strategy that a lot of investors are loving right now, the good old picks and shovels approach. It's like the California gold rush. Instead of trying to bet on which single miner is going to strike it rich, you invest in the company that's selling the picks and shovels to all the miners.
So who are today's picks and shovels? Well, they're the companies that form the absolute bedrock of this whole AI ecosystem. We're talking about the semiconductor companies designing the essential chips, the cloud giants who provide the massive computing power, the software companies that make sure it all runs smoothly, and even the companies that build the physical data centers. They're the foundation everyone has to build on. And all of this, the incredible hope, the dizzying hype, the echoes of history, it all brings us right back to that one single massive question that's hanging over everything.
Gary Marcus just puts the finest point on the risk with this perfect image. He's suggesting the market might be like Wile E. Coyote, who's already run clear off the edge of the cliff, but he's still pedaling because he hasn't looked down yet. The motion is there, but the ground underneath him has completely vanished.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? Is this incredible surge of investment in AI building a solid foundation for decades of growth, or is the market just running on air, right at the edge of a very, very steep cliff? The answer to that is going to define not just the future of tech, but the shape of the entire global economy for years to come.